from Watkins Glen International. It's time for the Go Bowling at the Glen. Cup Series playoffs, let's go here at the Glen. Good start from Chastain, but Shane Van Gisbergen right behind him. Truex coming on the outside with Bowman as well. Great start, Chastain.
Ross Chastain away with the lead, but he can't get too far away. Here's Truex. Truex in the 19 is going to look to his inside in 2. Can't get the job done. 3, now 4-car breakaway up front. They're side by side for 5th. That is Austin Cindric in that orange 2-car. Right now racing side by side as they lead turn 4.
Daniels give that spot to Cindric. Now they wreck. Christopher Bell out of the bus stop. Several other cars involved. Looks like Kyle Busch is in there, as well as a few others. Everybody should be able to drive away.
Right, so here's the cause right here. The 7 from the grass over, catches the left rear of the 8 at the top of your screen as they spin. Everybody comes in. Now, right side of the screen, the yellow and white car into Brad Keselowski. Staying here because he is the leader. He can pit on this lap. Hard right-hand turn for the 1 car onto pit road as predicted. This will hand the lead to Truex, who will then stay on the racetrack to score those points. There is Truex. Now, Truex's job is to hold off Bowman. And behind him, Briscoe, Suarez, that orange car of Cindric, Chase Elliott, Reddick, Larson.
All playoff drivers.
All playoff drivers. Playoff racing in a road course. This is what has to happen. 48-14 in tow. Truex going to win the stage.
This is hugely valuable for Martin Truex Jr. At a place where he has won before, he'll take those stage points. So important for him. To more of a rhythm here. Is it going to be more predictable or more chaos to come? Here we go. Van Gisbergen is pushing. Chastain hard on the inside. SVG thinks about diving on the inside and then thinks again. McDowell goes out wide. Check out this bag, man. Here they come.
McDowell's going to swing it all the way wide. He's going to take a run for the lead, but he can't get it done. Chastain gets the burst into the clean air. McDowell right behind him into 34. Shane Van Gisbergen gets punted a bit wide coming through turn 3.
Entry advantage he had earlier in turns 1 and turn 7. And man, this is a busy pit road.
Spun around, 99 car spun around in turn 6. He is borderline in the gravel. He's stuck. He cannot get out. NASCAR's going to have to throw the caution here.
This has been such a crazy day for playoff drivers.
And this is day over for Chastain and SVG. They try to run 1 extra lap. Will they get to pit road before the yellow? It's a drag race. The 1 and the 16, they will not make it. Pit road is closed. So much frustration in the camp of the 1 and the 16. That was the one thing that could not happen on their strategy. This yellow will sink them, his own teammate, the playoff car, the 99 in the sand.
You'll take what you can get. There is the end of stage 2, albeit under a slower pace. Under caution, Ross Chastain. Stage 3 begins now. Briscoe on the inside. Look at that high point forward. Does he get Van Gisbergen? No, he gets hit. There's contact. They're scrambling everywhere and spreading. Baggy, they're coming your way.
And it is chaos, leaving turn 1, heading into the S's. They all try to sort it out. Ross Chastain just trying to get out of Dodge right now.
I think if they're up inside the top 5, they're a lot more respectful, but they just know they have to get going.
Treble up in turn number 2. Denny Hamlin is around, and he's got contact on the back of his race car. Hamlin comes to grief at the bottom of the S's. He's able to refire the car, but as you can tell by the crowd here in turn 2, they are happy about Denny Hamlin, but I guarantee you he is not.
Crashed at Daytona, crashed in the big wreck. Recovered at Darlington, and here just gets put into the wall.
Yeah, 3 wide. I mean, basically, he uses the runoff, but the same 5 and 6 that we were showing you were side by side. Brad basically is like, look, man, if you're going to go to that runoff, you're just not going to squeeze me and have me lift. You see all that 40 total, 30 green, and for sure you're starting to see him go away. But until they start to lose too much track position as Buescher clears Chastain, what a great move.
And Chastain's time at the front has come to an end. Ross has led more laps here today than his entire road course career.
As we see Chris Buescher hit pit lane here, this is maybe a reaction to seeing the 1 and the 16 come down pit road as they're going to be ripping fast lap times on those newer tires. The 34 team actually came on the radio and said we expect those guys to be slower at the end of the run. So this is the idea of putting these newer tires.
As LaJoie comes to the pits on board with thanks to WeatherTech. SVG has been slicing them up since that last stop.
So if we look at the leaderboard, let's kind of update you now that we have 23 to go, what the plan is and what everyone needs from here, right? So Joey Logano is leading the race, last on pit road at 48. Smith the same, Larson, Keselowski, Suarez. We see LaJoie continue to drop. They're trying to nurse their fuel and their tires, maybe all the way to the end. If we get a yellow, they may choose to pit, but the strategy is to kind of nurse them.
At the front, Joey Logano, Chris Buescher. The man who leads the playoff standings up against the driver who narrowly missed out.
Watching Christopher Buescher open up the inside lane. He's going to dive to the inside of the 22 of Logano, and Buescher will take the lead. Logano's just got to let him go. He can't challenge that move right there at the beginning of the S's. And once Buescher's grabbed the lead in the 17, he is pulled away by 4, by 5, by 6 car lengths. Dylan, he has put those Ford sails in the wind, and Chris Buescher is gone.
No contest for sure. The tires for Buescher definitely paying advantage for him as he...
So far it stayed on. Lots of debris coming off of it. I think NASCAR is going to be put in a spot here. Leader coming right behind him. Rubber on the racetrack. Here comes Chris Buescher. Here comes SVG. The main tire is still on the car, though. Will it come off right? There's the caution.
Oh, and what a break for the two cars that were on pit road. Keselowski and Logano jumped to pit road, assuming there would be a yellow.
Who's got the better tires? Time to bring the action at the Glen. Let's go. Chris Buescher with an excellent placement of his car, but it opens up that inside line back to SVG.
SVG had an open lane, but he wasn't close enough to capitalize. Instead, it's Chris Buescher. He'll punch his way through to the lead. Hocevar now second. SVG is third. They're going to stack them up double wide for fourth. A couple of white and blue cars there at the top of your screen. Chastain and Briscoe, and there's trouble further back. William Byron gets launched up onto the retaining wall. Brad Keselowski's involved. Everybody else will find their way through, but William Byron up and in the air with Keselowski pinned underneath.
Kind of gets into the 6 or vice versa, but either way, man, what a hit for the 24.
It was super tight. That is such a funnel through there. Waiting for the green.
Green.
Van Gisbergen gave Buescher a little bit of a bump, and it's hurt him because they open up that gap. He's going to have to go deep on the brakes. He's got Chastain on his outside. Mike Bagley, they're coming to you.
Chris Buescher breaks away with the lead again. Hocevar trying to hang on to second. He'll chop off Shane Van Gisbergen. But here's SVG on the attack. He'll look to the outside for a moment. And there's trouble further back. Tyler Reddick's around. Kyle Busch is involved. That's Reddick in the 45 and Busch in the 8. Trying to right their cars. Trouble mid-pack on back as everybody in front of them was able to escape.
Right there.
Got Elliott.
Yeah, Elliott who gets Barry, and then they stack up. Truex, pretty hard damage into the wall. We'll see if the 19 has to come to the attention of the crew, and Reddick finally gets turned around on the nose of the 8.
On the left, Hocevar on the right, SVG on the inside, alongside Ross Chastain. Here we go. Do we finish it off? Van Gisbergen tries to unsettle Buescher, puts it on the inside, gets on the gas. It's Van Gisbergen and Buescher side by side to you, Mike.
Wheel to wheel for the lead, coming to the S's, and it's SVG. He'll power past Buescher and go to the lead. Buescher now to second. Third now will be Carson Hocevar,
who happens to be mentored by Marcus Ambrose. Marcus will be back in Australia watching this, and it's shades of Keselowski and Ambrose all over again. Buescher gets on the inside of SVG and says, you pushed me around earlier, I'm going to give it back. Incredible on this final lap. Van Gisbergen's only got one real shot left at it. Maybe two. Thinks about it into turn 6. Did Buescher save the best to last? Or has Van Gisbergen got a little payback? He gets wide. He loses it almost. He has to gather it up, but he can't do it. Chris Buescher wins at the Glen in the most spectacular style. What did we just see?
I'm so proud of you, man. So proud of you. That was awesome.